Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this.
Welcome into the Sharp Sports podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. Welcome into the Sharp Sports 82 YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. Well, the Denver Broncos come away with a 34-26 victory in Denver over the Green Bay Packers, an NFC contender. Denver Broncos now move to 5-0 against the NFC this season, sweeping the NFC East, and this was their standalone NFC North game. Denver Broncos are having an incredible year. They have now won 11 in a row. They have not lost since September. And even then, both of their losses are essentially on last-minute field goals. This team is tough. This team is resilient. This team found itself down again in a game against a very good team, a very good opponent. If anyone says that Green Bay Packers are not a good team, they don't know what they're talking about. Granted, the Green Bay Packers had a devastating injury with Micah Parsons and some other wide receiver injuries that may prevent them from going further in the postseason than they would like. But the Denver Broncos currently sit atop the AFC playoff picture with the number one seed, a home field advantage, a first-round bye, trying to do something that this team has not done since the Peyton Manning era. For those who might be tuning in to me for the first time, I had been begging, pleading with the Denver Broncos to draft and develop a quarterback. And the reason why you want to draft and develop a quarterback is really what you saw on Sunday. That's the best game that Bo Nix has ever played. I was having serious concerns, as was the national media. If you go back to, I know it seems like a million years ago, but really about a month and a half ago, to a very, quite frankly, poor performance by Bo Nix. A Week 10 Thursday night game against the Raiders, who were already spiraling at that point, but have proven to be even worse than when the Broncos played them the first time. And I was a little concerned that Bo Nix, the happy feet, the offense, as I called it, was non-functional. And I was worried that he was either regressing, a true sophomore slump, perhaps that Sean Payton was asking too much of him. And I've also been preaching that he needed to have balance in order to win the games. Well, that has changed significantly. Bo Nix is that guy. Bo Nix had a game for himself. Quite frankly, this may end up being one of his defining games of the season. If the Broncos are going where I hope they can go this season, this will actually be sort of the game where people, even the absolute haters, have no ammunition at this point. Bo Nix finished the game with his final stat line, 23 of 34, 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, no sacks, no interceptions, and a 134.7 quarterback rating. For those who don't know, that's essentially a perfect rating. Bo Nix was incredible. The Broncos had okay rushing, but if you take out Bo Nix's runs, the Broncos only rushed a grand total of, I'm doing math, 24 times for 79 yards. So he's doing this now. I didn't know that it could happen this quickly. I really thought, and I've been saying all year, that the Broncos had to have a balanced attack for success with him in this offense. That is no longer the case, mostly due out of circumstance, as unfortunately J.K. Dobbins out for the year. And the Broncos have kept on rolling. Quite frankly, the Broncos offense, certainly in this game and some other performances, have actually gotten better without J.K. Dobbins. I'm not saying they don't need J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins was having a fine year. But Bo Nix, this is what draft and develop looks like. This is what draft and develop looked like. Yeah, there were some rough stretches. Even yours truly had some doubts. Absolutely. My doubts was more about him and Sean connecting, him and Sean being able to sustain drives. I mean, they had periods of time in this Broncos offense not only was it a bad product to watch on the field, I was worried about the defense getting worn out because the Broncos offense, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Well, here to tell you, that did not happen on Sunday. And the Broncos offense had to step up because the defense, quite frankly, especially in the first half, was getting lit up a bit by Jordan Love in the offense. That'll happen. The Packers are a fine offense. Jordan Love is an excellent quarterback. But the Broncos, I'm just sort of blown away because they finished, of their 21 first downs, 15 were passing, 4 were rushing, 2 by penalty. So 15 of the 21 first downs, Bo Nix's arm. Third down efficiency, 4 of 11. You'd like to have that better, but 2 for 4 on fourth down, including a key fourth down where they decided to go for it. Fourth down and 3, keep the Packers offense off the field, essentially seal the game. Packers made it a little interesting with a very, very, very last minute drive, but at that point, the game was already in hand. And Bo Nix, absolutely incredible stuff, saying all the right things, doing all the right things, is a leader. And this Broncos franchise has found their franchise quarterback. As I stated earlier, the Packers offense was humming and dangerous as they were leading the Broncos midway through the third quarter. And Riley Moss, who's had a fine season, has one of the hardest assignments in all of football, being opposite Pat Surtain, who's arguably, in my opinion, the finest cornerback, in the NFL. And Riley Moss has been picked on by the officials. It's absolutely ludicrous. And it came to a head this last Sunday with possibly the worst PI call I've seen in a while. He literally touched the guy with his hand, and they called pass interference. As I tweeted here, you can see that it got quite the response, and I'm not wrong. I mean, it's just a horrendous call. And sure enough, the Packers get a first down off of that third down, and then catch the Broncos a little bit napping on the next play, and all of a sudden the Green Bay Packers have taken a decent-sized lead in Denver. But kudos to Riley Moss. He could have packed it in. He could have felt sorry for himself. He had every right to. Refs were terrible. It was just the most egregious call in a game. I hope they don't call the playoffs like this because it's just a bad product if they're going to call this low level of physicality and not let guys play. But Riley Moss, to his credit, didn't feel sorry for himself, didn't feel down on himself, would have every reason to. And instead, he stayed in the game, kept his head up, and made a very fine interception, a second interception for Jordan Love in this game. Pat Surtain had the one I'm going to talk about in a minute that kind of changed the momentum of the entire game. But Riley Moss's play at the end basically sealed the game for the Broncos. Absolutely incredible play. He had another very fine pass breakup in the first half that could have easily resulted in a touchdown. And Riley Moss, he's taken a lot of crap since he's been in the league for a lot of variety of reasons, which I don't really want to discuss. You can look him up if you want. But fine player. Glad he's on this team. Glad he kept his head up. And he's not going to let the haters or the refs get in his way of a fine performance on defense. As I was reading and absorbing everything that happened through this game on a variety of outlets today, one of the stats that came floating through, I think I saw it on NFL.com, was that basically that was the most pressures that Jordan Love has faced in his NFL career. And while the Broncos' sack numbers were not exceptional in this game, considering they've had basically a record-setting pace for sacks in this 2025 season, they kept the pressure up, and big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. And the Pat Surtain pickoff of Jordan Love, where he made an absolute steal of a play on the ball and showed why he has been already handsomely paid by the Denver Broncos and remains, I would argue, the best corner in the NFL. You could say top 2, but he has to be in the first 2 guys mentioned in the league. Broncos had gone 3-and-out. They were losing a little bit of momentum. Second half, down 9. Packers are driving. Packers are looking pretty good on offense. And Pat Surtain comes up with an absolute amazing play on that interception. Completely changed the momentum of the game. Packers were stuck on 23 points for quite a while after that. They did manage to kick a field goal to make it 26, but that play alone by Patrick Surtain completely changed the dynamic of the entire football game. And this defense is a championship defense. This defense, honestly, as much as we all love the no-fly zone and the Orange Crush, there is a third chapter to be written with this defense. If they continue to go where I think they can go, which is all the way to Santa Clara, California, and Super Bowl, they have a chance to go down the annals of Bronco lore as one of the best defenses this franchise has ever seen. And I realize that while I'm discussing the Broncos as a team, I'm talking about a lot of individual players, but that's because the performances of certain individual players, along with the team effort, really stood out in this game. And one guy that, even though his stat line will not look great, and he's been put in kind of an unfortunate situation due to the injury of J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey's running hard. 19 attempts, 65 yards, only averaging 3.4 yards a carry. Did have a touchdown. Can catch out of the backfield. Ended up with, where do you at? Only one catch. Has other games where he's had many more catches. But R.J. Harvey is no longer a rookie. R.J. Harvey is looking like a very smart draft pick by Sean Payton and George Payton. And R.J. Harvey is being thrust into a more centralized role with a team that has a chance to contend for a Super Bowl. And for a rookie running back in his first year, probably still learning the league, quite honestly, still probably figuring out his life in Denver, I am very impressed that R.J. Harvey has not only performed in these moments, but continues to perform in these moments. And he may not have the greatest statistical year as the Broncos advance through this 2025 season, but he's the guy now. He's the guy I trust. He's the guy I want with the ball for the running game. And he has been proven worthy of a high selection by the Denver Broncos in this last year's draft. The Denver Broncos have 3 games remaining on their schedule. And it provides an interesting test for them in each situation. And I'm going to talk briefly about all 3. The Denver Broncos next host the Jacksonville Jaguars, a game that I thought would be a bit of a pushover, easy game at the beginning of the year, as I did not think the Jags were going to have this type of year. However, the Jags have proven that if you hire the right coach, i.e. Liam Cohen, who's the former offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whose offense has not been the same since he left, and you pair him with arguably, you can argue where Trevor Lawrence stands, but he has been paid by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He will be the quarterback, and he has played quite well under Liam Cohen. The Broncos currently, as you can see here, are sitting at the 1 seed, but Jacksonville is the 3 seed. Jacksonville is going to be hosting a playoff game. They are going to win a division. I still think Houston does have a chance to win that division, but I really think it's less likely at this point. And certainly the Jags, if they continue on their ways as they've been winning quite a bit lately, should be able to win that division for the AFC South. So the Broncos are playing them here. Only thing that would help also for the Broncos, we'll see how it's been. It's been pretty warm today in Denver. It was pretty warm yesterday in Denver for December. But if it gets cold this next weekend, with a team from Florida coming to Rockets Mile High, I would certainly favor the Broncos in that matchup. After that, Denver Broncos keep continuing with basically finish out their year with 2 divisional games. One against the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. I would be completely remiss if I did not talk about the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL yesterday in a horrible loss, both for him professionally and personally, for the Kansas City Chiefs. Eliminated them from the playoff contention with their loss to the Chargers yesterday. I feel terrible for Patrick Mahomes. As much as I root for the Broncos, as much as I have talked about Patrick Mahomes, the reason why I talk about Patrick Mahomes is that he is the gold standard of the NFL for the last, basically since Peyton Manning retired. Patrick Mahomes has played in 7 straight AFC title games, something I'm not sure will ever be done again in my lifetime. It certainly will be a while To play in 7 straight Final Fours of any sport is absolutely incredible. And unfortunately for the Chiefs, this leaves them with more questions than answers in already a disastrous season. And I see no reason why the Broncos shouldn't go to Kansas City and get a win there. Continue the momentum, even if you have things wrapped up. You don't want to just be packing it in too early, especially if this team is going to get, this team being the Broncos, getting a first round bye. You don't want to take 3-4 weeks off. We saw Peyton Manning in the Indianapolis Colts. For those who don't know, the Colts rested a bunch of players, most famously in the 2006 season, and it was a disaster. They came out flat. Football is a rhythm sport. Football is a routine sport. Football you need to play to keep fresh. I'm fine with 1 week off. I do not want 3 weeks off. Broncos then host the LA Chargers here in Denver, a game in which probably the Chargers will be playing for a playoff spot, would be my guess. We'll obviously know a lot more by then. I would also contend that for the Broncos, partially for moral victories, and I'm not moral victories, for karma and the sake of the season, if the Broncos can not only eliminate, obviously some of their victory over Kansas City didn't help earlier in the year for the Chiefs' playoff push, but if they can push the LA Chargers out of the playoffs in Denver and cap off a season number 1 seed, eliminate the Chargers from the playoffs, and really set the table for a Super Bowl run, that would be a marvelous step in the right direction. So the Broncos are really in the driver's seat at this point. There will be discussions about how, I'm sure there will be discussions about how they are overrated, how they don't deserve this, how they're a fraud number 1 seed. That's fine. Those people can keep saying what they're going to say. Most of them, frankly, either live in Kansas City, don't watch the games, or have some other agenda. The Broncos are having an amazing season. I pegged them at 11 wins. They're already at 12. I never really, truly, I thought next year would be the year for a Super Bowl run. But the time is now. This team is young. This team is hungry. They have the right coach. They have the right quarterback. And I can't wait to keep talking about it because it's absolutely fun to be in Denver right now. It's an incredible time to be here because when the Broncos are good, Denver is a lot of fun. Once again, my name is Andrew Sharp, Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I got a little busy last week, did not do a preview of Packers and Broncos, but I'll be back. I'll be back this Friday. Do a little preview of the Jacksonville Jaguars coming to the Mile High City. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.